Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's just start our sprint planning. So after talking to Win, he think it would be best just for us just to give it a try today and just go through the spring tickets today. So what we plan to do is to go through each of the tickets and make any clarifications. At the same time, as a team, we would need to decide together to say that, hey, this ticket is worth how many points. So by point, it's like an estimate time unit that what how long it's going to take. Whether this is like 1 point, maybe something very straightforward and simple. 3 points take a little bit more time, and things like that. This would help us to plan for the sprint, 2-week sprint, so that we know how many tickets with with the points add up that will make sense for the 2 weeks time. And on the Friday, we can the structure is going to be like kind of like a grooming time, ticket grooming time, so that we can ongoing just to clean up tickets from the backlog. Eventually, we will catch up of cleaning up the tickets in the backlog by clarifying them with additional more helpful information as well as assigning points. At the end of the 2-week sprint, the Friday, we're going to do a retrospective to review what we have done right and what we have done areas that we can improve, and then so it's going to identify opportunities for improvement, so it will be better as we go. And any comments or questions just like for this brief information? Cool. So let's just talk about the first one. The first ticket is, I think it's filed by Lawrence. Just let's look at this together. mUzima application not accepting changed password at login. Once the application is installed on the device, user is only able to log in using an active password at a time. If password is changed, afterward they try to log in using the reset password, the application does not accept, poses a challenge for users who completely forget their password. As a team, do you think this description is clear?
Ada, I have a question. So,
Sure, go ahead.
So the user account is usually created on OpenMRS, correct?
Correct.
And at that point, the person is given a password, and they have to use the same thing when they're logging in from the device.
Yes.
So how do you actually change the password? Only through OpenMRS?
Yeah, so I think what happened is that, so let's say that user, the first time the user was giving a password 123, let's say that, and then after set up in the device side, to log in successfully, and let's say that 2 weeks later, the user forgot the password 123, and then they request the administrator to reset the password from the OpenMRS side, the server side. Let's say that they changed the password to 456, and by using the new password 456 to log into the device, it would not work. It still requires the previous password because it's downloaded to the local repo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I think it requires some kind of like synchronization or something to update the latest password in order for the user to log into the device.
Great. Okay. Good.
Yeah. Did I describe the scenario correctly, Lawrence?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So also one question for you guys is that, do you think we should change our formatting when we file tickets to say something like as a user, as a user, or as a provider, or as someone I expect, so when something working because so that it would perform something. Do you think we should stick with that kind of format, or the current way people just describe freely is okay? I just want to get a sense from you guys.
I think
Which one is more?
Personally, I've kind of used the one that you're talking about now,
Uh-huh.
which is
Uh-huh.
the role play,
Uh-huh.
where you say, as a user, I want
Uh-huh.
to be able to log in, or as a user, I want to be able to reset my password,
Uh-huh.
because that gives us a more a point of view of why this is actually required. So I think it makes more, it gives us more sense of why this feature is actually being implemented at all.
Okay.
So I don't, but that's just my understanding of it.
Uh-huh.
Of course, the description can still remain as a more elaborate um way of describing what the situation is.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Because
I
a
think
lot
it's
of times, I think when we say as a user, I want to be able to do this,
Mhm.
the developer whoever is developing the feature can actually understand why it's being developed. So a
Mhm.
lot of times, I think what happens is we just develop things and then we don't understand why it was
Mhm.
written the way it was written.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
What's the
Just
reasoning behind it?
yeah, if that is helpful, I think it's important for the developers to understand why as well, not just like to create feature or fix a bug. I think it's really helpful for the developers to grow, to see bigger picture, why, reasoning why this is needed or why this new feature is needed. Um, if this is helpful, I think as we go through with sprints, and I'll be happy to help to clean up the tickets with the current tickets for the sprints, and then so hopefully it'll be more clear for everyone. But if I after I change it and the original reporter, I think it will require the original reporter just to help to review whether it really reflects what he or she meant. That'll be really helpful, just like so that I'm not really guessing it wrong either. Would that be okay for everyone? I would need everyone to be on board to do it together.
Yeah, I think that's okay, Ed.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe just to be more clear, I don't know whether Switha could include it in the SOP that she's
Yeah.
working on for
Mhm.
tickets.
Yes.
In
Yeah, for
case,
the best practice for filing and updating tickets. Yeah, I think Shrita is working on that draft version for us. Okay, cool. Hey, Win, cool. Win, do you want to talk about assigning points? Like for example, this ticket, as a user, I would expect that if I, reset my password from the server side, I will be able to log in with the new password on my device. So I think, can you guide us about assigning points for this ticket? Hey, Win, you're on mute in case you're talking. Okay. So let me change the tickets while we're waiting for Win on this one. Should I even say that as a user on the device side or?
Sorry, I was on mute.
I'm going to mute myself because I'm typing. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So I think we're planning to do a sprint process. So I'm just following what they said about sprinting. So um, I'm hoping we can do like 2 week sprints, and then we'll decide what tickets we'll go into the sprint the Monday before we're officially start the sprint. So I don't know if we can start the sprint today. If not, then we can I don't know, start it on Friday or something like that. But the idea is we'll have a set of tickets that we'll we will work on for the sprint, and then the points associated for that ticket is it's not related to the time needed to finish the ticket, because it's going to be pretty tricky uh, to estimate usually. So rather than estimating time, so we'll just estimate the amount of effort needed to finish the ticket. So for example, um, we'll need, we need baseline uh, before we're assigning points for each ticket. What we get from this point will be the total amount of points we can finish in one sprint, and then that will be our sprint velocity. I don't know, maybe we'll be able to finish like 40 points this sprint, and then 36 points on the following sprint, and then 30 points, and so on. So we will need some sort of baseline on how we can estimate the ticket. The way we do this is we look back to the ticket that we already closed or finished, and then using that ticket, we'll try to guess how much effort needed to um, to do the ticket, and then we'll try to estimate the points for other ticket. The points will be a half points, 1 point, and then 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, and then 20. And then after 20, it's going to be too big. If it's more than 13 points, then most likely the ticket will need to be broken down into a smaller task. This will also help us to decide when the ticket should be broken down further, instead of having like one big clump of, for example, add feature X and then assign like 20 points to that ticket. We need to break down how we will finish feature X with like 2 points, and so on until we reach the 13 points. Any questions so far?
So when, because we're just starting this, right? Like we haven't done this before, so maybe the first few sprints would be like guesswork, like.
Yeah, most likely on the first 1, 2, or 3 sprints, we'll just we'll be stuck at estimating most likely, but it's
Yeah.
but like going forward, we'll do like after the sprint ends, we'll do like a retrospective to see what we did well, what we didn't do well, and then what we should do moving forward for the following sprint. I think we can discuss about how we points and so on to make us better moving forward.
Cool.
Yeah. So Any other question?
So, do you want to talk about when we talk about points? I know that um, it's not really like actual, number of hours or number of days or something like that, but it's more like in relative term, like a unit. So maybe for the first, for the first spring, let's say that how many points you think we should try to reach to test out?
Um, I guess as long as we can, so we'll have like all this. So this is the sprint view, sprint planning view. So we'll have all the bugs, and then Ada, you as a project owner,
Mm-hmm.
will probably need to reorder the backlog,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
and then we will try to put points to as much as tickets as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone is done doing, so when all the sprint is not available for work, for example, like everything in need testing phase
Mm-hmm.
or something like that, we can pull some of the backlog into the current sprint.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so as long as we have the priority in order, that will help us deciding what works can be pulled into the current sprint. So, I mean, for the first sprint, we can try to shoot for like, I don't know, 30 points or um, around 25 to 30 points, depending on how we point the
Mm-hmm.
ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But around that area, probably going to be a good start for
Mm-hmm.
us.
Okay. So, do you want to mention about what tickets should be in the sprints? It needs to be like active development. Is it correct?
Um,
Not including
what do you mean, Ada?
like like we talk about like some of the tickets are in the testing, testing state.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So all the ticket will be the one that needs development. So testing phase, we will leave it, and then as if, for example, after the testing, the ticket cannot be closed yet because there's still bug or something like that, then the ticket will go back to the backlog. This is the backlog, and then if we need to finish it right away, we need to make sure that that ticket goes to the top of the backlog.
Got it.
Yeah. That way, when we have resource available, we can pull that backlog into the current sprint or the following sprint.
Mm-hmm. So when we talk about tickets in the testing phase, those should not be included in the sprint.
Yep.
So I think it's important for everyone to know, including both developers and implementers, to understand that in order for us to close tickets, I think implementers really need to step up to help us to do intensive testing and provide feedback in a timely manner. If not, your ticket will not be closed. If your ticket is not going to be closed, and it will not be included in the next release.
Yeah, I think if we cannot close a ticket, then there's going to be a chart showing how is our progress for the current sprint. If we cannot close the ticket, we will have like a burn down chart. That one is showing your burn, how much points you can burn in the sprint. So the starting point will be, for example, 40 points. Then if we cannot burn down anything, then you will not see any progress.
Yeah, because I can imagine as a developer, it would be quite frustrating that I spent so much time on fixing these 3 tickets, but then I don't hear any feedback from the users or testers that for a couple months. And let's say 3 months later, the testers say that, oh, this is not working, this is not working. It's a little bit challenging for me to go back to pick up what I finished like 3 months ago. So I think it's important for the implementers and the testers to step up and try to provide feedback as soon as possible.
Yeah, this is one example of burn down chart. So for the current sprint, for example, this one is the sprint have 47 points. And then this gray line is the normal burn down chart. And then the red one is the actual burn down chart. As you can see, for this sprint, the burn down chart is not really good because most of the ticket is still in, it's not closed yet. So if our sprint, for example, cannot close any ticket, then this line will be flat all the way, and then our sprint velocity will be 0 because we're not closing any ticket. I think this one will be good for just to see how we are doing the sprint.
Hivin and Ida, I just have a quick question here.
Mhm.
So when since we're actually taking the testing out of the sprint, is that
Mhm.
what is that correct? When do we actually close a ticket? Like when do we say that this story is done and dusted and we burn down the points for that story or feature? Like is it after the person who opened the ticket tested it and is satisfied with the implementation and then moves it to close? Or is it just based on the developer's effort?
I think we should count down the effort needed to do testing.
So sometimes if there's a delay in testing it, would that mean that that story is not considered complete?
Yeah, I think this is in a way kind of force our implementers to do the testing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Kira?
Yeah, I think it requires the implementers to step up to do testing in a timely fashion. So let's say that the developers already, make some changes and then it's ready for testing. So I think we need to talk about something as well because let's say that the workflow. I'm talking about the workflow. Let's say that Sridhar already submit like a pull request, and the next step should be code review, don't you think?
Yeah.
And then before it go testing later, right?
Can you guys see the
Yeah.
the flow? So I think we can decide like what the flow we want to do. The to do is the backlog, and then or what do you want to call it? Like new. And then from open ticket, as soon as you claim a ticket, will say um, in progress.
So who does this moving around of tickets and stuff? Is it going to be Ada?
Yeah,
I think for the for the open ticket to in progress and then moving it away from in progress, that's going to be us, Sweta, the developers. And then moving from
Backlog priority and sprint.
yeah, backlog priority will be Ada. And then so what the developer we only will care about the board, the active sprint.
Right.
Where is the sprint board? So we'll only care about this active sprint.
Okay.
So once we look at here, this is the only view needed by the developers.
Okay.
Yeah, so the developers will just move the ticket from open to in progress, and then from in progress, once it's done, to code review. And then from code review, I think I will do it and then move it to testing. And then from testing, this will be the responsibility of the implementers. So if a lot of tickets get stuck in the testing, then it's not going to be the responsibility of the implementers.
Not the developers, yeah.
Yeah, not the developers.
Hey, Wayne, I suggest to add one more column for like waiting for like need information or something like that, because
yeah, like a blocker or something.
yeah, because there are a lot of time because we're waiting for information from the original requesters.
On hold. I think I'll put it between open and then in progress. How about this?
Yeah.
So the workflow will be from open to on hold, and then from open ticket to in progress, and then if there is something happen, like waiting for information, then we'll move to on hold, and then from progress we'll go to code review. Code review can go back to in progress if the code is not satisfactory.
So can we just go through the difference between code review and under review? I think it was really my problem. I add the code review because in the past under review it could mean under review by the requester implementers or under review by you actually. So that's why I create code review, just to distinguish them, because it was a little bit difficult for me to figure out which tickets need action by who. That's why I create the code review stage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, but should we revise the tag for under review? What that means under review? Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can do that. We can do that later, Ada. Yeah. But in general, are we okay with this board?
Yeah, it's important to hear from.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I just wanted to confirm, like once a task has gotten to the point of testing, is it possible to get a notification on email maybe, or like I have to log in the entire time just to know what's pending for testing?
Yeah, we can add watcher. allow for each ticket. That way, the watcher will get an email.
That
If
would be
you,
great.
if you're in the watcher list but you don't get email, you probably need to update your email subscription in the email address that you use. Probably Jira cannot reach that email address. So make sure
Yeah.
that you have
So yeah. So Lawrence, you can use it as a watcher to select the tickets, or you can add yourself, update your subscription profile that to be watcher for all tickets. So
I think after the code review, Ada, we can add the appropriate implementers as a watcher. So we make sure that in the comment we'll add, like, I don't know, so and so please test this ticket or something like that.
what I have in mind when it's just easier is that just add all the implementers to subscribe to the mUzima project.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to do app one by one by the developer. I think too much work for the developers to remember who to add and
Okay.
yeah. So it's more so that the burden is like go back to our us, the implementers and stuff like put on the developers.
So Ada, I just want to figure out what we should do as developers so that I can put it into that document that I'm making, so I can capture all of this. I think it's right in time for the new setup. So
yeah, I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
I think this probably is just too soon for us to start the sprint this week. Just to I don't know if you guys agree, but like we can just like kind of like a mock thing, so we can just try to do it together. It might not be like a formal sprint, but like a testing one. Would that be okay with everyone? Because I think we are not really that well prepared, and it's new to everyone. So maybe this is like a trial version of the sprint.
Yeah.
So we're going to be able to identify a lot of opportunities for improvement. Cool. So Shrita, you and I can work together on the document that you're working on. If you can share like through like Google Doc or iPad Wiki, that'll be great. And then I can add whatever we think from our side, and then based on what you have.
Sure, Ada, makes sense.
Cool. Anything? Any other question?
Does it answer your question, Lawrence?
Yes, it does.
Okay, cool.
Okay. These are the close or resolve issues. So I think we need to go through and figure out which ticket we want to use as a baseline for estimation.
Do you want to? Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I think it would be important for the developers to pick because you guys know how much time you spend on it.
Yeah. You guys want to open and then suggest which ticket should we use for estimation. So the estimation, the ticket should be 1 point. So which one you want to assign as 1 point from the closed ticket, and then based on that one, we can try to estimate like, oh, this will take like 3 times amounts of work. So we'll point this as 3, for example.
I think there was one where we had to add the date on the saved form to capture the date at which the form was date and time when the form was saved. I think that was a simple ticket. I would say that that's a 1 pointer.
Is it this one? Add last
Yeah,
updated date time?
I think that one.
Data under incomplete and complete form. You think this one worth 1 point, Smita?
Okay.
No,
I don't know.
that's the question. I'm just wondering.
Okay.
Probably the complexity is 1 point type, but then it's just many pages need to be updated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say this is going to be like 2 points at least.
Yeah. I don't know if we've done any 1 pointer stories. Like a very quick fix, right? Like something that would be done within a day. But I don't want to bring in the whole relation between time and points. So I'm going to not say that again.
No, that's fine, Smita. Hmm. If we want to use this one, for example, we can say like this story worth I don't know, 2 points or 3 points. Because it's not complex, but the amount of work needed, I think it's quite a lot, because we need to add incomplete form for the summary page, complete form for the summary page, and then incomplete for the form, and then complete for the form. So that's already 4 location that we need to update, and then 4 location that's going to need testing.
How about 165? Would that be something? Is it a lot of work? Like apply the standard templates, form templates to the existing form. I know that it would take a lot of time just to clarify what the templates to be. By applying them to each of the form, I mean the subtasks I'm talking about. Would that be like 1 point, 3 points? How many points?
I would say at least 3, because
3 points.
yeah. Need something simple. I think there is like a change of text for the incomplete forms, because we call it something else before. Do we have that ticket?
Yeah, you mean the labeling? Yeah. I think Srita did it for us. Let me see.
Okay, let's just use last added updated time then. Sweeta, if you would guesstimate
How about 93? No, how about 93?
93.
Add 90.
Yeah, this would be good.
So updating the void with retire.
Yeah, I think this was a little more complicated than that for me because we have to understand the databases and how they're related to each other, to tables and stuff. I think this was pretty straightforward. You just had to get the date and time and then just put it on different pages. Let me see if there's anything else that I can think of. I'm just going to open up a search on this side. Sure.
I guess we can say like 2 points for this one.
We have a 100. 100, just updating the text.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, this is actually a lot, because you need to go through. Even though
I will not be able to tell because I just thought that just update the text.
yeah, the work is easy, but it's a lot. It's like 0.0.0.1 times like how many files we have.
Oh. Weren't there a few, I think in the early part was when we had to also show the number, if there were form templates that were deleted on the server, we had to also, whenever the sync happened, we had to say downloaded X number of forms and deleted 2 or something like that.
Yeah, I think you did that one, right, Sweeta?
Yeah, but I don't remember the number, so I'm just looking in my logs.
Yeah. How many points do you think that ticket
That was
were?
a 1, I think.
Okay. Okay, Sweeta, suggesting that one. I remember that ticket. Simon, do you have any suggestion on which ticket you would think worth 1 point?
Um, 170 looks like half a point, or is it 1 point?
Yeah, this one I would say half a point, Simon. Or maybe more.
Oh no, we have a half point. How do we find a 1?
Okay. That one is half. And then adding like tax and all those information worth 1 point. Similar to this one, I would say this one is 2 points because of the amount of data. I mean, one location probably half points because it's just adding date and time. But you also need to factor in the location that you need to change and then the amount of effort needed to do testing. So that's why everyone needs to be need to be able to say their voice when we're doing planning. Okay, so we probably have like a good idea on our baseline, probably. Will be sucks, but we'll refine it later. So we can, I guess we can try pointing the sprint that we want to do. So we cannot start the sprint until all this that we want to do, pointed. So the first ticket that we want to point is mUzima application not accepting change password at login. Okay. How many points do you guys think this will work?
A 3 maybe?
3, okay. Um, we can say that one is definitely not half points. So on count of 3, everyone says their points. 1, 2, 3.
3.
What did you say, Simon?
I said 3 points.
3 points. That was easy. So everyone agree that this is 3 points?
So this happens to me as well, like sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you tend to agree with what everyone else is saying. It's really a scary slope to go down, you know? Because in your head, you're like, oh, this must be a 10, and everyone is like, oh, it's just a 1. And you're like, oh, I can't look stupid and say it's a 10. So, yeah, it's a 1, until you get the story to work on.
Yeah, I think that's why in the sprint planning, everyone need to give their points at the same time. So
Right.
you're not getting affected by others.
Yeah.
So the acceptance criteria would be, yeah, we need to create acceptance criteria for each of this ticket data.
Yeah, I think that's just a sample we just updated a few minutes ago.
Okay.
So everyone agree on using the standard format, yeah, so like the role play format.
Yeah. So everyone agree on 3 points for this one? All right, I'm giving it 3. 3 points for that one. And then separate online authentication and local authentication. This is pretty complicated. I don't think we need to do this one yet, Ada.
So I noticed that some of the tickets we spend time on it, but not really moving. So it's more like a cleanup sprint that I see instead of like just brand new tickets sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I put it there.
Okay. So I can tell the story about this one. So for this one, right now the authentication process happens, I think, it will try to authenticate with OpenMRS server, and then if it fails, then it will fall back to local authentication if the user is already available in the data repository. So for the previous ticket, it probably you just need to flip the process. I kind of forget which one happens first, but the online authentication and offline authentication happens in one method. So if the first one fails, it fallbacks to the second one, and then if both fails, then you cannot get into the application. For the previous ticket, we probably need to flip the process, making sure the online happened first, and then it fails, then it will fall back to the offline. So for this one, what I want to do is, I think we should separate those two processes in two separate calls. That way we'll be deliberate when we want to authenticate. For example, we can do like, if the user is online, meaning the user have internet connection, then we can do the online authentication instead of offline authentication. I think that was the idea of separating those two processes into two separate service.
So when are you saying that if there is internet and the user is connected to it, online authentication is preferred over local authentication?
I think so. I mean, that way we can be sure that we're using their latest password.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Are you guys ready to point this? One, two, three, four. Point. How about we type? On count of three, everyone type to the.
Okay, one sec. I forgot. Is it 1, 3, and what is the progression?
You can do 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and then 13.
Okay.
On count of three, type your points in the chat. 1, 2, 3. Everyone seems to be agreed. So this is going to be 5 points then. Adding preference of encounter provider under settings. This one is coming from Ada. Ada, you want to explain, or you want to tell us what's still not done?
Yeah. Actually, because already helped us to do it, and now we're just doing testing. And the problem is that, so like let's say that as a provider, when I log into the device, I expect that when I tick on the option that me as the preferred provider on all the form data template, so that I don't need to input this information on every form that I fill out. So that's pretty much for this ticket. The challenge that I have is that after this option is take the provider ID, go to the go into the provider name, and then that's the problem that I cannot move forward to save the form templates. So I think it just needs to update on where this system ID information actually go updated on the form template. I think that's the problem I have. I think because when he do testing, he cannot reproduce the issue that I encounter, and that's why I reopened this ticket.
Okay. Um, how many points do you think this is going to work?
I think Vickers would have more thoughts on this one. But I think he's offline.
Yeah, actually he was joining in from home and he seems to have some internet connectivity issues. So he just sent me a message.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So we also after assigning point, we also assign it. We also need assignee for the first two tickets.
Yeah.
258 and 61.
Yeah, we can do it later, Ada. Let's just point it first. How many points do you guys want to give to this?
So for this ticket, since when I want to ask the clarification, since this one already kind of like in progress, it just because it was in the testing phase and I confirm it's not working as expected. So these points assigned for a ticket like that should be original story or as of now? I think that's my question.
It should be as of now.
Okay.
Yeah. It should be for the remaining work needed to finalize the ticket. Are we ready to point?
I think you should count 1, 2, 3, so everyone type on the chat.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Archana is saying 3, so he needs to explain why 3. Unless if we can go down to 2. Archana, do you want to explain?
Yeah, I just felt like to get to know the background information for that. It might take some time and then to get started with the work. So I just felt it is at 3.
That's fine. I think
Yeah.
you because you just joined in.
Mhm.
So the good thing is for the sprint, it doesn't really matter on per individual effort, but we will look at the total effort that
Okay.
that we produce as a team.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes.
So I'll just assign it to 2.
Great.
So this, I think it would be good. This ticket will remain for Vickers. But how about the first two tickets? When I think we need to assign them.
Yeah, technically, for the sprint, the ticket will be free for all. So if you have any, we can discuss this as a team and pick the ticket that will play you on your strong side.
Mm-hmm.
That way we can finish the ticket.
So does it mean like after we go through the ticket, clarify the assigned points, and then the developer can say that I want to claim this ticket?
Yes.
So Ida, I just have a quick question here. Sorry, this has nothing to do with print, but where does the error UI figure in the sprint? So just wondering.
Oh yeah, yeah. At first, I was going to do the phase 2 UI error resolution, but when thinking through, I think it's better for us to actually testing and implement a little bit. So to identify any potential issues before we have the phase 2, I think that would be more helpful because without really like testing, implementing it, and because those assumptions that we have before that, because that's what we make it up. But after the actual testing implementation, I think we can get more closer information for the phase 2. That's what I plan.
Okay, sure, makes sense.
Yes, does it make sense? Yeah, because like those things that we identify for phase 2 is really before anything, any phase 1 have been done on testing, right? So maybe after the testing and implementing the phase 1, I think the story would be changed for phase 2.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is adding validation against bounded. So this one, the story is we have autocomplete, but the thing is there's a possibility that the user doesn't pick from the autocomplete, but instead they just type whatever they want, and then the form will accept that. So this ticket is just make sure that when the user use autocomplete, um, the value inside that field will be coming from autocomplete instead of like a random text. So this seems to be worked on, and then there's still a little bit work, I guess, we need to do.
Sorry, Vin, can you just repeat the last? This just got dropped off for a second. So
Yeah, the work seems to be almost done, and there's a little bit things.
So it's done for a single form, but I was kind of hoping, I'm not sure if it's a possibility, but to refactor the code in such a way that I move the autocomplete part to the JavaScript into mUzima.js and just keep only the data in each of the forms. I was working on that today, but I'm running into some issues. So maybe at the end of it, we'll decide to just leave the autocomplete on each of the forms. But the code itself is there already. So it's
Okay.
just a matter of refactoring.
Okay. So ready to points this?
Yeah.
The code is there. It needs some refactoring. So
Across 20 forms, though.
yeah. So 1, 2, 3. Yes.
It's getting scary,
Yeah. I think we're very good for the first time.
but it's awesome.
Okay. Programming CDM form. I'm moving this from task to story because task cannot be pointed. So this one is, I'm guessing this is a new form, Ida?
No, it's an existing form, but then they have additional information need to be updated.
Which form is
So
this?
the CDM screening form.
Oh, okay.
So this is across for all the chronic disease management.
Okay.
I think Simon did some work on that already. Maybe Simon can better comment on this one. He just did a pull request earlier.
Okay. Simon?
No, I haven't done any work so far. It's what I'm going to start on.
Oh yeah, the one that you did was costing forms, right?
Yeah, we're waiting for some information which was given. So I expect now to start on it. So
Okay.
so Eda, you are saying the one Manu did should be the one that we need to update.
So there's some screening. I think there's like a screening form. But I think it's like for the web for the desktop version, but not for the mobile version. There are a couple information, I think, like for the provider list and also the location things that I think Lawrence is helping us to get the information before we can start this one.
Okay, ready to point this? On count of three. 1, 2, 3. How many slow? You want to argue, Simon, or?
No, let's leave it at 3.
Okay. I can only do probably one more. And do you guys want to continue and then start the
No, I think
sprint?
we can. No, I think we can stop after one more win, and because it will be plenty for us to for these couple days, these few days, and then we can continue Friday.
Yeah, I'll just move this story that we haven't point so we can start the sprint, and then we'll point more later on Friday.
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate.
Okay. Um, what about this download provider? Anyone want to explain about this?
This one is to download the complete provider list to the local report, so that it helps with reduce the burden on the developers every time they need to go and update the form templates with those hard-coded provider lists.
Okay.
So it's for
I
this.
think because he's been working on this,
Mhm.
so he just left a note for me saying that he's almost done with this, so there's not much left in this as well.
Okay. Um,
How many points you want to assign since it's not complete, right? So
Yeah, but I'm not sure how. I know he's done quite a bit of the work, but I'm not sure about the testing and stuff. So yeah, we should estimate it as almost done, but not tested fully.
yeah. Ready to point this on count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Simon slow again. Simon.
Simon is the pro.
Simon, do you want to argue for 2?
Wow. No, again, let's leave it at 3.
Very easy. In my current company, we argue a lot, like a lot of arguing back and forth. So okay, so we'll have 22 points, and then if we can get everything done early, we will pull more into the sprint, and then we'll estimate more on the ticket on Friday.
What is the U and UVS, the labels?
You
I
is the
think
unassigned.
U is unassigned.
Oh,
E is because
You guys
Green
initial
as
first name,
assignment.
first name, sorry.
so I have a ticket. Okay.
Pink as. So let me start the sprint and then we will work on it. Start date is I think this is using Kenyan time.
Yeah, Kenyan time, yeah.
Let's just leave it then. There you go. That's your sprint view.
Woohoo!
And this is your burn down chart. So remaining 22, and then For the developer, you can just go to this active sprint, and then you just care about this 3 column. Like I can move it to in progress, and then the implementers will only care about the testing. I'll probably work on 1 or 2 tickets, and then I'll also do the code review. And then the implementers move from testing to done, and final validation will be done by Ada as the owner. Anything else, guys?
I think that's a good start.
Yep.
We'll keep looking for improvement opportunities.
Yeah.
I think everyone needs to speak up if they have like suggestions.
I think as we grow familiar with the source code, our sprint velocity usually going up. For example, like we can only do like 30 now, and then in a few weeks or in a month or 2, as we grow more familiar with code base, our sprint velocity can go up significantly. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
That was productive.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.